Hey everyone, I'm Shay Parker, and usually when you see me, I'm about to teach a game or teach you how to teach a game or teach you how to be a little bit better at a game. But today I'm doing something a little bit different. See, there's something that I really miss that is a problem because of the current state of the world. You all know what I'm talking about, and that thing is in personal connection, specifically one-on-one conversations with people. I mean, this should be no surprise, board gaming is a social hobby, and even though I am a pretty introverted person, I miss being able to talk to someone just one-on-one, especially about something that is really important to them. Because when I'm talking to someone about something that they're passionate about, it doesn't matter if I care about the topic to begin with. If they're passionate about it, if they really love it, I get drawn in, and I really miss having those kinds of conversations with people. And now, I love board games, and I could talk about board games all the time, but it's also, being in board games media, it is kind of a job. And so there are a lot of things that I really like that are not related to games and that, it would be nice to be able to talk to. And I suspect that a lot of the other people in board game media feel the same way. So I am going to test that theory today with my good friend Mike, who is here with me. Hello, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me on, man.
No problem. Thank you so much for helping me out with this. So this is going to be a bit of an interview with Mike about something that he is passionate about. Now, you might know Mike from being one half of the Brothers Murph with his brother Nick. They are on YouTube. They are streaming on Twitch all the time. They also stream for Gen Con's Twitch channel. He is one of the hosts of This Game is Broken, an excellent board gaming podcast. And he makes the Board Game Geek in Focus videos. But I don't want to talk about any of that. No, I want to know, Mike, what it is that you want to talk about. What is something that you are passionate about?
It's a good question. So obviously you can see one of my passions behind me, but one of a passion that I have that's actually a little bit different that I didn't expect to fall into is alternative education for kids. Meaning not the 9 to 5 going to school and stuff, but finding alternative ways to do enrichment for kids, finding things for them to do so that they can culture a passion for learning, for exploration and play. And that's something I actually have spent a decent amount of my adult life doing, is kind of teaching kids in that non-formal capacity.
So are you talking about like special education, special needs education, or is this a more broad range kind of practice, I guess?
Yeah, it's more of a broad range thing, which is really cool. The cool thing about kind of alternative education is that it can accommodate any and all types of kids. So what I mean is focusing on like enrichment programs after school. I started teaching Lego robotics and cooking classes, was how this whole kind of can of worms got opened. And I found that to be really neat to do something that isn't just the day-to-day homework STEM stuff, is kind of going more into the STEAM category. Having kids discover how to build stuff with Lego and then make it come alive with robotics and stuff. We're teaching them how to cook. So at a very young age, these kids start to learn some basic fundamentals of cooking, which is going to be a very useful skill for them later in life. But when we're in the classroom, it's just super fun because we're just goofing around, playing with food and stuff and actually getting to learn. So that's what I mean, is finding like alternative ways for kids to learn that isn't the standard formal classroom setting.
Gotcha. I have to admit, when you said Lego robotics and cooking, I was hoping that was one thing. A Lego robotics cooking class.
It's just a bowl of melted plastic. Eat it. Or don't. Definitely don't. There's batteries in there.
Maybe that's not the best way to go. So that is really interesting. So you said you started teaching Lego robotics and cooking, two separate things.
Right.
Did you just sort of like fall into that? How did you end up in that field?
Yeah, it was something that, from all places, I discovered that job through the UCLA alumni kind of job search. And so I fell into it and I was like, you know what? I volunteered with Boy Scouts. I'm a former Eagle Scout, and then I would volunteer with my dad, who's still very much involved in the Boy Scouts and stuff. So I'd worked with kind of younger kids, 10, 11, 12, and then saw this job open up, which was catering to kind of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. It's like, you know what? That might be kind of really fun. I love Lego. I grew up with Lego. I still love Lego. So that was kind of my main thing, was like, oh, they become robots. I want to just do this job so I can play with the robots, which I did a lot of.
And then that kind fantastic.
It's so fun. It's really legitimately for kids and adults really cool what you can do now just using phones and stuff to program. So it was just kind of this natural thing that evolved into me working at a children's museum that was all based on that. It was all based on exploration and really play-driven learning because kids play naturally. And through that, you can impart lessons and stuff. You can teach them about nature and science and art and all that. And they're just getting to be kids and goofing around, which is so fun.
Gotcha. Did you have like a favorite lesson or something? Was there something that always drew like a great reaction from the kids?
Absolutely. We would do kind of like a messy science program and stuff. We'd actually go to different schools and put on this science program where we'd make like elephant's toothpaste, which is using different chemicals.
Toothpaste.
Elephant's toothpaste. It's a chemical reaction using kind of a stronger concentrate of hydrogen peroxide and a couple other chemicals, and it makes this super foamy craziness using a chemical reaction that's actually quite hot and stuff like that. So the joke is like an elephant would eat a ton of toothpaste. So it becomes this giant foamy mess. And kids are just like all about that because it's just gnarly and stuff's flying all over the place. So doing kind of science and physics experiments where things, basically anytime a kid got to make a mess, it was on. Like they were all about it.
This sounds like very Bill Nye kind of stuff.
100%. And that's actually funny is like I grew up, because we're of that age, watching Bill Nye, and I would do all the home experiments every episode. I would like, Mom, I need some balloons and I need some like baking soda and vinegar now. And I would like blow up a balloon. And so I think that kind of made sense that I started doing a similar thing. It's very much Bill Nye, very hands-on. And you get to see kids, like kids are super smart. Kids like to figure stuff out. They're very curious. And so it's cool to have situations where it's like, yeah, play with that thing, mess it up, break it, make a mess. That's fine. Like here's a safe space to do that because kids aren't presented an opportunity to make a mess every day. So working at a children's museum, we literally had an area where you just played with mud. It was just make believe in the mud. Like when can you just get muddy? You know, you need a specific area to do that. It was super cool.
True. I feel like I never really had that kind of thing. I mean, I did a little bit of the Bill Nye stuff, but the only thing I remember was seeing on Bill Nye of something along the lines of like, you take a comb and you comb your hair really, really quickly, and then you have a stream of water, and you put the comb right next to the water. It kind of bends the water to you. That was the one thing I remember seeing. I knew I had this, so I could at least try it at home, and then being like, how does that happen?
Right. That's what's
Physics.
so cool though. Like kids, like if they, physics and static electricity and things like that. But like, that's what's so fun is like kids have curiosity and like that stuck with you. You remember doing that experiment. I remember doing the balloon experiment where it created a reaction that blew up the balloon and stuff. And this was many years ago. And so that's why I like doing kind of the alternative education, because you will see that moment when kids have a spark and they go, oh, this is super interesting. And I'm like, man, this kid might grow on to be a chef. They might become an engineer. They might become a great artist. And I'll never know that, but it's cool to be in moments where you're like, this might have been the genesis of that. That's super exciting. Encouraging kids and people to be passionate, to be curious, to be bold and brave and stuff like that is really rewarding.
I do love the idea of like presenting a kid with something and seeing them light up of like, I never knew that this was even a thing that I could do or that existed in the world, and kind of seeing like, not necessarily a career path in their mind, but like that spark of interest that might lead them down a path.
And that's all what it's all about is there's no pressure for it to be, oh, this has to yield something. It's just giving kids an opportunity to maybe find something that they see as super interesting, something that they'd want to pursue, find out more. Again, the goal is always to create a passion for curiosity and learning. So it's like, oh, I like learning new things. That's something I've always enjoyed. I always want to learn about people's stuff, kind of like your idea for this show. I'm the same way. If someone's super into something, I just want to hear you talk all about it. It's fascinating to me, because I like learning stuff.
And that's the thing, like if you talk to a kid about something, they will go on. And I kind of love that about a kid, like they don't have a filter. So if you get a kid talking about, what's your favorite Pokemon or something like that, they know everything about it.
They're gone. Yeah, they're all in on it, right? And they don't have like bills and things to like take up brain space. So they can just be all about it. And it is cool. I mean, that's one of the best things for kids. it's a tip and trick to talking to kids. Just ask them what they like, and you don't ever have to talk again. They're gone. They're on it.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
So you did this as a job for a long time. Do you have any connection to it currently? Are you trying to keep up with the kind of things that are going on, or just?
Yeah, it's one of those things that, I haven't had much of a chance recently. I still do stuff with the Boy Scouts once a year, obviously last year not included. But I do like a summer camp thing with my dad and my brother, and we're adult leaders who teach merit badge classes and stuff. So I still do that. And it's something that with kind of the board gaming hobby, I want to blend those two things together because kids like to play. That's their default setting is play. Board games, what do? You play. And you have a bit of structure and stuff like that, but there's games that are aged all the way down to very young kids, and you can bring them up. So I'd want to find a way to basically encourage kids to play something analog, get away from a screen, use their brain, put together a puzzle and stuff like that. So it's something that I would like to continue to foster my own excitement for that kind of alternative education with board games.
Definitely. Well, Mike, thank you so much for talking to me about this. I really appreciate it. And I'm happy that I got to learn a little bit more about this alternative child education. I really appreciate it. Now, since we're at the end of the video, as a treat for everyone who has stuck around this long, do you have anything that is going on in the board game world that you want to make sure people know about?
Oh, snap. As Shay most graciously mentioned at the start, I'm kind of all over the place with my brother, Nick. We do a ton of live streaming. That's something I'm really excited for in 2021. 2020, we saw a lot more people starting to do board game live stuff as we're seeking ways to connect with each other. Again, kind of like the premise of this show. So if anything, I ask that you come join us live, come chat with us. We enjoy being able to see people, talk to people, talk about their passions in chat. And we have lots of really fun events under the Tabletop Live Network with live streaming as well. So it's a lot of cool stuff going down on Twitch right now. Awesome. And I will definitely say that your Twitch community, from what I've seen, is just unbelievably welcoming and so positive. And I think I think they are fantastic. So an extra shout out to you guys. You guys are great. Shouts out to chat. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all next time. And thank you, Mike, again for interviewing with me. Really appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye, folks. Bye.